Alright, what is going on, guys? I hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, I'm going to be as fast as I can, as efficient, and give you guys the most value. So I'm going to provide for you the exact process I use to give my setters to book me 8 qualified appointments every single week. So appointments, they don't show up. I book appointments and they don't close. I book appointments and they just don't have the budget. I've been in the same position as you. But now I came to realize there's no way that this is how business is. And I understood that bigger sharks require more work in order for you to actually get them to close, to invest. So I'm gonna give you the exact process I use, pretty much my setters, to book me 8 qualified appointments. So, by the way, we do all cold outreach. We don't run ads. We don't do email marketing. We do everything cold DM. So my favorite type of opener that I like to use is called a permission-based opener. So essentially, they get the misconception of, by you being asking for permission, it shows that you're weak. And it really doesn't. It shows you're confident when you sell. Let me explain. So when you sound insecure, when you sound like, okay, I'm a beggar, you say, sorry to bother you. Does that make sense? You're pretty much begging them, oh, I'm below you, but I'm below you. Put yourself below the lead, and you don't want to do that. What you want to do is say, quick question. Is now a bad time? What you're doing now is you're getting permission. Permission for what? A response. Your whole goal throughout the entire process as a setter is to get permission for the next response. So again, all it does is it shows confidence. So you never apologize. Always show for relevance. When you apologize, you make yourself seem less, as if you don't belong in the conversation. You need to have the confidence that you belong in that person's DM, that you can close the client, that you can book the lead. So you need to believe in what you sell in order for you to act right. I dropped a video about this 2 years ago. You need to believe in what you sell. Think like a Christian. I've said this multiple times. You got to believe that these people want your service. Believe. Now, the psychology behind a permission-based opener, it gives you the control. It lowers defense and it signals intelligence. So I've met people when I would do door-to-door or cold calling or cold DM setting. These people that have a defense, they have a border like, oh, not gonna happen. I'm good. I don't want to invest. I don't know. I'm good. They have this border. When you say, okay, hey, do you have a quick minute? Do you quick one? They're gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do it. You're there to respect their time. You're not there to force them. You're not there to force them to book a call. You're not there to force them to answer your DM, to pitch, to whatever it is. You must ask to be earned. So again, a permission base. This type of opener works best when there is context behind it. Notice you're scaling B2B sales teams. Can I ask you a quick question with that? You have the context, the permission, and the question. You don't want to make sure that context that you provide doesn't feel like a setup. So let me explain. Let's say you're looking through someone's profile. You want to make a context-based opener. You go through their profile. You find a highlight. Let's say for 3 years ago, you're going to look creepy. Avoid doing that. You want to find something as recent as, a week, 2 weeks, maybe max a month. Hey John, I noticed you got an award for blank company. Congrats. Was wondering if I can ask you a quick question about your position at X company. That sounds reasonable. Why? It's relevant. It happened a month ago, max. You got to make sure you don't sound creepy too. Your next question, whenever you're doing a permission based, you need to be quick with it. You need to be quick. So you're supposed to be simple, non-threatening, easy to answer, and problem aware. This is the basic structure of your question. So let me explain. Avoid you saying, what is your biggest challenge with X? You're automatically, okay, what does he want to know? You're selling me. I'm going to leave you on scene. You need to be a permission-based setter. Say something along the lines of, are you handling your outbound internally or outsourcing? Oh, well, I'm handling it internally. We have 4 setters. Oh, perfect, cool. Why? Binary questions feel safe. Long questions feel like work. This is the beauty of sales. This is the part where you need to, if you understand what this means, you're going to scale quick. Let me explain. Again, you're being respectful. It is that, when you walk into the sales call, when you walk into someone's DM, they're shaking. It's fear. It's fear of being sold. It's fear of being invested. It's convinced to do something that they don't want to do. It all comes from fear. So you need to make sure that it creates a safe environment for the lead to be like, okay, you know what, I'll answer this question. You look reasonable, you look like a reasonable setter, your value looks reasonable. Again, it's all about earning permission for the next DM. In your opener, if you say, quick question, you need to provide a question quick. You cannot provide an essay, a whole 5-paragraph, blah, blah, blah. If you say fast, if you say quick one, you must do it quick. Kill your trust faster than saying quick one and then sending a long paragraph. The soft ask is not a close. Permission openers are for starting conversations, gathering information, qualifying lightly. It's not for booking calls immediately, providing calendar links, or pitching. You need a soft ask, dialogue, alignment, transition. When not to rush. So avoid permission-based openers when the prospect is already engaged, high intent inbound, problem is already urgent, and it's obvious. So the reason why you don't want to do this is you're going to be doing more than you should. And when you do that, you're going to play defense mode as a setter. So instead of you framing the call or framing whatever the text, instead of you framing the text, you're going to be playing a defense. And if you play a defense, you're pretty much begging for an answer. You're begging for an answer. Oh, I messed up. I said the wrong thing. You're begging. You're going to be, oh, but blah, blah, blah. You're going to try to make it up. And all you're going to do is push the lead away. You want to sound like a human. Would this sound normal to me if I said it to a friend? Practice. I love to do this role playing again and again. We practice a lot of tonality. We practice a lot of saying it naturally, letting it flow, getting it into our brain. You know, I mentioned it before, you know, it's like shadow boxing, you know. You got to make sure you say the script again and again so your brain can then replay, okay, this happened in this scenario, okay, I'm going to say this, boom, boom, boom. It just all connects. It's all an ecosystem. Avoid, may I inquire about your outbound system? Instead say, can I get your take on X? I like this a lot, and the reason why is because most people, it's going to be difficult for them to say no. And the reason why you're being respectful. Can I get your take on this? Oh yeah, definitely. More than likely, people are gonna give you the time of day because you're being respectful. Okay, now I have some notes that I want to go over. So pretty much just, you know, framing the call, framing the text, whatever it is. So let's say the problem is they have a broken outbound process or it's non-existent. Usually what this sounds like is says we're just testing things out. You know, there's no SOPs, there's no tracking, there's no consistency. There's no feedback loop, and that's a big issue. If you're running a system, anything from an ad to a sales call, you need to have an SOP down. You need to make sure, okay, this is what we do. First step, second step, third step. If you don't, you can't scale. I've said this 2 years ago. Systems are built for leverage. Leverage for what? For the next person that's going to come in, the person that's going to fulfill the role. You know, building leverage allows you to scale faster. So if you can repeat yourself again and again and again and again for someone to say, okay, maybe I can learn this, or maybe I'm gonna hire somebody so I can delegate. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Boom, boom. You write down everything you know about that position. That person then reads off of it. There, you've delegated correctly. There's no tracking. This is one of the worst things, and the reason why is because you don't know your numbers. You don't know how many DMs you send. You don't know how many people you don't know how many people book. You don't know how many people close. You don't know anything. And the reason why this doesn't work well is because you don't know your capacity. You don't know your capacity. If you do more than you should, your business is going to fail. One, because the stress is too high. You can't manage the stress. You can't handle pretty much the more clients you can handle, right? You can't handle more clients than you can. So you need to track everything. There's no consistency. There's no consistent framing. There's no consistent, detecting pain or urgency. They're not consistent with your system, so it's going to fail. No feedback loop. This is one of the biggest things that stops a lot of businesses from scaling. And it's the fact that there's no feedback. There's no, where did I go wrong? We're asking yourself, where am I going wrong? What can I fix? What I like to do is I'm basically spilling everything for you guys. So I want you guys to literally give me a like and a comment. Every Friday, what we do is we pretty much run a weekly recap. What were our numbers? What were the DMs sent? How many did we book? How many responded? How many people didn't respond? How long did it take me to answer after how many follow-ups, et cetera, bro. Just counting numbers, counting checks. That's all we're doing. So what do you do? What should your setter do in case these things happen? Number one, how are leads currently being generated? This is incredibly important because it gets you to see, okay, let's say they're doing PR ads, right? You ask them, how is your CAC going? What is your return on investment when you spend on ads? Is it $1 to 100 or whatever it is? It gets you to see, okay, so maybe they're stuck here. You dig deep, you see the bottleneck. Okay, these people are stuck here, and let's see what we can do. Next, is there a script or a framework your team follows? This is incredibly important because usually sometimes with a script, when I've worked in sales and I've worked in different companies, people force you to do a script again and again, and sometimes it doesn't work, and it kind of puts the setter down because most people have a script where it's extremely long. You're talking and talking, you say a paragraph and then you let the lead respond. There's a paragraph and you let the lead respond. You're just bombarding the lead with a lot of information, and at the end of the day, you're gonna burn out the lead. It's gonna end up costing you money for your acquisition process. Next, how do you track what's working? So this again, like I mentioned, you need to collect data, collect information. What are the numbers that we're hitting now? What can we do to improve? Is there any bottlenecks that we currently have? Collect. I've said this multiple times on my YouTube channel, you gotta collect data. It's essentially the most important part in order for you to scale. I'm gonna mention this again. Think of it like a balloon. If there are holes in the balloon and you add more water, what is gonna happen? The water is gonna fall out. Eventually that balloon will never fill up. You need to see the holes in your business. Count the numbers. What are your bottlenecks? Where in your business are you struggling? Why haven't you scaled to 5, 10, 15K per month? What is currently stopping you? Most people that I talk to as well, they struggle with low intent leads, meaning these people hop on calls, but they don't have the budget, they don't have the money, they're just looking there to learn, they don't want to invest. So what it usually sounds like, people want free info, they are curious but not serious, they're not ready yet. We get ghosted after the call. This is so common. We get ghosted after the call, and I usually ask people, what do you guys do with them? And most people say nothing. We don't do anything with them. You're losing money there again. Guys, go ahead and give me a like. Go ahead and give me a like and a comment. But whenever after a call, you never throw that lead away. And the reason why is because you can fill your pipeline with more leads. Let me explain. Month 1, you have 100 leads. Month 2, you have 100 leads. You close, let's say 3. You have 97 left, 97 and 97 for the 3rd month. What you can do is you can follow up with the leads in month 1. Follow up with the leads in month 2. Eventually, your pipeline is going to be flowing. You're going to have maybe 300 leads for the month 4, 400, and it just increases. Over time, your pipeline is going to be a flowing pipeline full of leads. People are going to be saying, they're going to be blowing up your phone. Gio, how can I get started? I want to pay ASAP. I've seen your videos, boom, whatever it is. You got to follow consistently. Everyone says, I'll do it later. This is very common. Most people that say they always say, send it to my email, but they never do anything about it. When you do this, you're making yourself seem like a beggar. You're pretty much putting yourself with no confidence. You gotta set authority. You gotta move the objection, because whenever you send it, you're already losing control. You're letting the lead control the call. You're letting the lead control the text, whatever it is. You need to control it. You can say, no, I definitely understand. But before I do that, what is currently stopping you from investing? Whatever it is, say something. Move the objection. The objected, move it. Objected, move it. That is my favorite thing. Whenever objections come in the way, that is the number one thing I do. There's an objection, I move it. Objection, I move it. I learned this from Daniel, this one sales coach. But what it usually means is there's no buying intent qualification. Most people that do this, there's no criteria, we're book anything with the pulse. Can't do that. Setters are booking interest, not urgency. Oh, this person is interested in getting help. Okay, but do they need it? Oh, they're interested, but do they need it? That is the most important thing. You are a business. You are not a psychologist. You're there to make money. You need to detect urgency. Does this person need help today or in the next 3-6 months? Usually what I like to do is, I like to say something along the lines of, what would this do for your business if it stayed the same for the next 3 to 6 months? Oh, well, I'd go bankrupt. Oh, perfect. That's the answer I want to hear. I wouldn't want you to go bankrupt, so let me help you. You need to understand that offer positioning is incredibly important. You don't want to be a business where it's just nice to have. It's nice to have Geo around. You're going to be completely useless if you're a nice to have. What I like to do is I train my setters with, I teach my setters what we do. So by me teaching them, okay, this is how we work with businesses, this is what we do, it helps increase the belief in them. When they say, oh man, this actually works, again, you're positioning yourself. Their setters are going to be able to pretty much communicate with your lead better. If they say, oh, how does this work? Oh, we do X, Y, Z, or we do X, or we do Y, we do Z. They better communicate. They position your offer as a need, not a want. So You gotta make sure you train your setters. Setter follow-up questions. What usually stops them from moving forward? This is incredibly important because you're detecting pain. You're just seeing where is your main bottleneck. If your main bottleneck is from the book call to the call, there's no specific reminders. There's no consistency with the reminders. Whatever maybe you're seeing the bottleneck. This is incredibly important if you're looking to scale. Are they actively trying to solve their problem right now? Again, it's urgency. You got to detect urgency. Are they wanting to solve today or the next year? Do they already have a budget for this? Usually what I like to do with this, usually if you have a calendar site where you book the appointments, I recommend you guys say, do you have a budget? Do you have a budget of at least minimum of whatever, let's say you 10K, right? A minimum of 6K, 7K up front. Maybe if you get a PIF, right? You want to make sure you put a specific budget, and the reason why is you disqualify people early on. If they say, oh, I don't have a budget, and you notice that, oh, they don't have a budget, but they don't have a budget through your calendar site, you can automatically disqualify them. Oh, they're not a good fit, they weren't meant for us, move on. Again, it saves you a lot of time. That's essentially what you want to do. Most businesses, startups, anywhere from 0 to 100K, you want to make sure that you save as much time and put your energy to where it actually matters. So by you disqualifying early, you allow yourself to focus on leads that actually want to scale. So I really hope you guys did like this video. If you want some similar content like this, go ahead and give me a like, subscribe, and give me a quick comment.